Your dog licked your face today, and you smiled. Maybe you laughed. Maybe you turned away because it was too much. But what you almost certainly did not do was understand what was actually happening in that moment. Because the lick on your face wasn't a kiss, it wasn't even close to a kiss. It was something far more specific, far more useful to your dog, and far more revealing about how they perceive you than anything a human gesture could ever convey. Welcome to Cute Pet Family. Subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn will change the way you experience one of the most common moments between you and your dog. And once you understand what is really happening, you will never feel the same way about it again. Let's start with what everyone assumes. Dog licks human face. Human says, "My dog is kissing me." The interpretation is automatic. We see a behavior that physically resembles affection in our species, and we project our species' meaning onto it. The lick becomes a kiss, the kiss becomes love, and the conversation ends there. It is one of the most consequential mistranslations in the entire human-dog relationship. Not because the lick has nothing to do with love, it has plenty to do with love. But love is not what your dog is doing in that moment. Love is the relationship that gives them permission to do it. The behavior itself is something else entirely. It is information gathering. It is biochemical analysis. It is, in functional terms, a medical exam. To understand what is happening, you have to understand where this behavior comes from. When wolf and dog puppies are weaning from their mother's milk to solid food, they perform a very specific behavior toward adult members of the pack. They approach, they look up, and they lick the corners of the adult's mouth. The behavior triggers a regurgitation response in the adult, who delivers semi-digested food directly to the puppy. This is one of the oldest documented behaviors in canid social structure, and it is hardwired. The puppies do not have to learn it. The instinct is there from birth. Adult dogs retain this behavior throughout their entire lives. They direct it most often toward members of their social group that they perceive as senior, trusted, or providing. The lick toward a human face is evolutionarily the same gesture. It is a juvenile to adult signal transferred onto you. Your dog is performing a greeting that has functioned across canine generations for tens of thousands of years to communicate one specific message. I recognize you, I trust you, you are someone who provides for me. That is the relational layer. But there is a second layer happening at the same time, and this is the one almost no one talks about. A dog's sense of smell is between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than yours. The part of their brain dedicated to processing olfactory information is proportionally 40 times larger than the corresponding region in the human brain. Dogs do not just smell more strongly than we do. They smell with a level of precision that is closer to chemical analysis than to sensory experience. When a dog licks your skin, they are not just receiving a brief sensory impression. They are sampling. The combination of taste and smell receptors in a dog's mouth and nose work together to read the chemical composition of your skin in extraordinary detail. They are picking up the salt content of your sweat, the molecular signature of stress hormones like cortisol, the lipid composition of your skin oils, the bacteria living on your face, the traces of every food you have eaten, every place you have been, every emotional state you have moved through in the last several hours. The lick is, in functional terms, the most efficient way for your dog to download a complete biochemical update on you. Here is the science that confirms this is not metaphor. Multiple peer-reviewed studies have demonstrated that dogs can detect, through scent and taste, conditions that are invisible to human medical equipment. A 2019 study published in the journal Frontiers in Veterinary Science showed that trained dogs could detect early-stage lung cancer in human breath samples with accuracy rates above 90%. Other studies have documented dogs detecting low blood sugar in diabetic patients, oncoming epileptic seizures up to 30 minutes before they occur, and changes in cortisol levels associated with anxiety and PTSD episodes. The dogs in these studies are not magical. They are simply trained to alert humans to chemical signatures the dogs themselves can detect natively. Every dog can detect these signatures. The trained ones are just the ones who have learned that humans want to be told. When your dog licks your face, they are running the same chemical analysis those medical detection dogs run. They may not be diagnosing anything in particular, but they are reading you completely every single time. Your fatigue, your stress, your hydration, your hormonal state. Whether you are getting sick before you yourself know you are getting sick. The lick is not symbolic, it is data acquisition. There is a third layer that connects everything together. When dogs lick people they are bonded to, the act itself releases oxytocin, the same hormone that floods between a human mother and her newborn during nursing. A 2014 study at Azabu University in Japan found that mutual gaze between dogs and their owners triggers oxytocin release in both species. And the study has since been extended to other forms of physical contact, including grooming behaviors like licking. What that means is this. When your dog licks you, they are receiving a chemical reward in their own brain that reinforces the bond between you. The lick is not just information gathering. It is also a self-soothing, bond-strengthening act for the dog. Their nervous system gets a small wave of calm and connection every time the behavior happens. The closest human analogy is not a kiss. The closest human analogy is the way a parent might press their hand to a child's forehead to check for fever and find, in the act of touching, that they themselves feel calmer. The behavior gathers information. The behavior also reaffirms the relationship. The two functions happen simultaneously. This is why dogs lick most intensely after you have been gone for a few hours. They have been operating without their primary chemical reference point. The reunion lick is the update, the hormonal reset, the reaffirmation that you are who you should be, that nothing has changed in a way that would threaten the bond, that the family is intact. Here is when this matters most, and this is the part that should change something for you. Dogs often lick more intensely, more frequently, or in unusual patterns. When something is different about their human, researchers in canine behavioral science have documented numerous cases of dogs persistently licking specific areas of their owner's skin in the weeks before those owners were diagnosed with skin cancer at exactly that location. Cases of dogs becoming unusually attentive to one parent in a household. Weeks before that parent received a serious diagnosis. The dogs were not predicting, they were reading. They were noticing a change in the chemical signature and responding to it. If your dog suddenly starts licking you more than usual, with focus on a specific part of your body in a way that breaks their normal pattern, that is information you should not ignore. It is not a guarantee of anything, but it is a data point produced by a sensor system that operates at a resolution your own body cannot match. Pay attention. Your dog has been paying attention to you the entire time. So what do you do with this? The first thing is a small reframe. Stop calling it kissing. Not because the affection isn't real, but because the word obscures what is actually happening. Call it what it is. Your dog is checking on you. The second thing is to start noticing the patterns. When does your dog lick you most? After you come home, when the chemical update is overdue, when you are stressed, when your body's signature has shifted in ways the dog can read, when you are about to leave as one final reading before separation. Each of these moments has a different functional meaning, and once you start observing them, the pattern becomes legible. The third thing is to receive the gesture differently. The next time your dog licks your face, take a breath. Recognize that you are being read by an organism whose ability to perceive you exceeds your own ability to perceive yourself. Recognize that the act is, in your dog's behavioral world, one of the most attentive things they are biologically capable of doing. You are not being kissed, you are being known. There is a difference, and the difference matters. The deeper truth is this: your dog has access to a layer of you that no human in your life will ever access. They know things about your body before you know them. They register changes in your emotional state before you have words for them. They have been keeping a continuous biochemical record of the person you are, updated multiple times a day since the moment they became part of your life. The lick is the maintenance check, the quiet, daily, instinctive act of an animal whose job, as they understand it, is to keep track of you. Now, you can see it. And once you do, you will receive that lick differently for the rest of your life. If this changed the way you see your dog, share it with one person whose dog licks them every day, and they have never thought twice about why. Subscribe to Cute Pet Family. Every week we decode the signals your pet has been sending. Since the day they came home, they've been speaking. It is time you finally learned to listen.